Call the meeting to order by reading our great text of in accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirements that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom meeting ID number 840-0877-2826 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager at atm@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 100 prior to the meeting during business hours. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I really do appreciate it. What I'd like to do right now, though, is, I've called the meeting to order. We've had a passing of Carol Tillis this week. And with that, I'd like us to take a moment of silence because Carol definitely made an impact in the town, as well as she was one of the early members of CPC. So let's just take a moment of silence for her, please. Thank you very much, everybody.
Could I add that there will be a memorial service for Carol on Saturday, November 11th at 10 a.m. at First Church Universal on Foster Street in Littleton.
Yeah, that's right across the street from the fire station.
Right.
And if you do go, wear pink or purple, not black, right?
Well, that's optional, but yes.
I know. Anybody else want to say anything? Or, all right, she's going to be missed for sure. Okay, moving on with the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as written, please?
So moved.
Second.
Beth first, Colleen second. I got to do roll call. Jess?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Beth?
Yes.
Colleen?
Aye.
Jason? Okay, and the chair says aye. So it's been approved. Approval of the minutes. Wow, I've got 3 corrections, Jess.
Ooh,
I know.
wow.
And they're not bad at all. On the first page, underneath the Community Preservation Coalition, the second of the 2 dots. Another factor, however, is the wording for handling.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then on page 2, underneath the article, the bullet where Colleen said that about the moderator, it's James Stephen. There's no S for his last name. And then on page 4, talking about the housing authority with regards to the historic firehouse, the second bullet, I just want to add something there that, that if they don't have to pay back any money back to CPC unless they destroy the gables.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, that it stands as long as they stand.
Okay, I'll correct that.
That's what I have. Anybody else have any things that they noticed on the minutes? With that being with crickets, can I get a motion to approve the minutes as amended, please?
So moved.
Mike Barry made first.
Seconded.
Colleen seconded. All right, roll call. Jess?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Beth?
Yes.
Colleen,
Aye.
Jason,
Yes.
and chair says yes, so approved. Thank you. Correspondence. Sandy Pond School Association sent an invoice, and it's been approved. They do have just a small amount left in their funding. The amount that got approved was 11,700, and this was a change of order plan that, again, with the ADA stairs, just because of the increases of some of the materials, and it's to the general contractor, Gerald Doherty. That was one of the invoices that came in, and then yesterday we got a invoice from the library with regard to their digitization of the Public Spirit. And this is from 1992 to 2005, has been digitized, if that's the right word. It's for $4,920, and that got approved.
Who does that get paid to?
Advantage Archives,
Okay.
LLC. And pretty much that's all that I have. Anybody else receive any other type of correspondence? No?
Not-
Okay. All right. Next on the list here is public participation. I don't believe I see anybody else here from the public. Again, I'll just reiterate that if anybody who watches this on APAC later on, if you do have any questions, please contact CPC through an email, cpc@ayer.ma.us, or you can call Carly Antonellis and she will get in touch with me or one of the team members, and we'll give you a call back and give you the answers that you may be looking for. Okay. Old business. I sent you all a copy of a grant agreement that I've been talking with the coalition on the Affordable Housing Trust to make sure that we can word the grant agreement to include not only the monies being set aside for purchasing of property for housing, but as well as administrative costs and things like that. So I do have more of a legal wording, whereas, therefore, for a grant agreement. I don't know if anybody had a chance to go ahead and read it. I think, again, with it coming from the coalition, and it does have to go to Robert to bring to town council, so they have to, approve it. But I didn't know if anybody saw anything that stood out or.
Why don't you give us a moment to just look at it again?
Sure. Do you want me to pull it up?
I've got it on my phone here, so.
All right.
I did read it, and it seems pretty thorough. And obviously, to me, it looked like a lawyer had given
I would imagine, especially with
an interest in it. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I thought. I mean, I had the 2-page one that we normally have, and then I had this one, which was 6 pages, and it's like, oh, this is going to be a little bit more in depth, and I was pleased to see it. I mean, it had a lot of things in it that I hadn't thought about. So
Exactly.
it spells a lot
Yeah.
out, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the third whereas,
Yeah.
it says the purpose of the within grant agreement.
On the third one, I'm seeing.
Oh, no, wait, it's the fourth one, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Can
Oh, go ahead.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Uh-huh.
One of the points, and let me see if I can find I think under the work, part B, it says every 6 months we'll provide an update on progress towards completion of the work, would that be, I mean, if it's gonna sit in an account, we would just write and say, we haven't found a property yet to spend it on. Okay,
Yeah, pretty much. Um,
Could I suggest, I think ordinarily for some projects, a year would be fine.
because I
And
think
then there's some that we might, if it's an ongoing construction or something like that, we might want reports more quickly. But like the library, I don't feel we need a report more than once a year.
well, we
And
can,
for something like this where we have CPC members that represent the trust and can get, regular reports too. I mean, I guess maybe having something in writing is nice, but I agree, that annual is going to be satisfactory in a lot of cases too, but again, case by case basis or project by project basis, maybe.
Yeah. For this
Okay.
one, I'd say a year.
all
Or-
right, so you're making the recommendation that in point B, every 6 months until the completion date, make that annually?
Yeah,
And it's true, when we have the committee reports or whatever, we do get updates, every month. But, so I can put that.
and did you get rid
and
of that?
given, I think
Okay.
given too, the fact that the administrative costs will be a yearly audit, the, rental assistance is a year-long program that, will be getting a new round of applications and funding, so that might be the 6 month report on those is not going to be much different since those are going to cycle each year.
I agree. Yeah.
I just have a question about funding process because this agreement indicates that we're giving them all of the funds at the time the grant agreement is executed, whereas other times we do more of a pay after there's a bill, like we're doing with the library or with Sandy Pond Schoolhouse. And I'm fine with the approach because I think it totally makes sense for there to be, an ability, especially with an acquisition like the Conservation Trust or the Housing Trust, to have funds that you can act on without any, extra steps. I agree with that, but I just wonder at the time that like town meeting vote is made, is that transparent and, something that is understood through the application review? And I haven't been, to a few meetings. And so I just wanted to like kind of draw attention to this as, kind of a change from normal operations where we're often receiving a bill and then paying that. Again, I don't disagree with the approach, but I just want to understand how that's vetted for each project during the application review process.
Oh, I mean, when you say an application review process, forgive me for making it sound this way, but the application is to go ahead and review the project, not necessarily how the funding will occur. I mean, we can go ahead and have that be part of the dialogue.
Yeah.
What I'm just trying to think is the only time that we don't do, say, I mean, no matter what we do, pretty much do separate invoices. I mean, that was one of the things that happened with Parks and Rec, where it just got thrown into the capital account, and that's why bills were being paid without coming, to CPC for review. However, that's why, it needs to go ahead and be stated within the grant agreement that we need to review the invoices, even though it is in some sort of capital account. Now I'm trying to think of wording to say, even though it's in those accounts, a
Right.
review needs to happen. And I'm just trying to look at the funding here.
Could I,
Yep.
so you want to have CPC review and okay before funds could be used for property acquisition?
No, Oh, I mean,
Okay.
for property acquisition, I think this is one of the discussions that the trust has been having, to go ahead and have some sort of public hearing anyways, because we always want to be as transparent as possible if there is going to be an expenditure, not necessarily the discussion prior to it. Again, that's going to be executive session. But once the decision's made, then I think just like with conservation, the conservation fund, it's gonna have to have some sort of public information session or meeting, so that they know exactly, so.
CPC, are you saying?
No, I'm talking about, the funds. I believe part of the bylaw is that, you've got to make it transparent if
Yeah.
something
I
was gonna.
know, I know the Conservation Fund, we have to have a public hearing if we were
Okay.
to use it. But we don't have, as far as I understood, we don't have to come back to CPC.
No,
Right.
no,
So that would, I
no.
assume, be the same for the housing trust.
Right, and
Right.
and this is what I'm saying, it has to be, brought up, so that the public knows where these monies are gonna be going. A
Yeah.
CPC has already given its okay, and
Right.
town already gave it the okay. Now it's the next step of making sure the town is aware of what's gonna happen.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the only, like I said, the only ones that I'm expecting are those that don't get, thrown into the capital budget or the conservation fund
Yeah.
account or the housing trust account. We don't look at, okay, you've got the 12 recipients, 12 families that are getting rental assistance. We're not into doing that. We know that that's where those monies are going to be going. And again, Colleen goes ahead and reports back to us, on how things are going.
And can I
And
jump
then the
in too,
annual-
Janet? One of the reasons we added the administrative funds is that we are required as part of the trust bylaws to get an external audit each year. And so those administrative funds are going to cover the audit. So I think that's another way that, I think how the funds are being handled and used will be closely monitored.
Correct. And I think, the reason why it got included in the grant agreement is to be sure individuals are aware that there can be funds that are used for administrative with CPA going to the housing trust, CPA funds going to the housing trust. So that it's all up front. Does that make sense? That's the reason why I wanted to have it inside the agreement. And I was happy that's the way that the warrant was written too as well. The warrant article was written. So, I mean, this is specific for the grant agreement. When I said, this is a great template for other, funding projects. Everything's going to be tweaked, just like Beth said. It'll be tweaked per project, so that there will be, more stringent. We need to look at invoices, or everything's going to be reported on. Again, it's still going to be the yearly basis, but things are not going to take. Some of them will take only a year. Some of them are going to take more than 3 years. No matter what, everybody can have a chance to have the monies go out a little bit further. So is there, I went ahead on that fourth whereas. I changed the purpose of this grant agreement is to ensure. I don't know why. I must have cut and pasted and.
Yeah,
Cut and
it's okay.
pasted. All right, so, thank you. So is everybody okay then with that funding, that the fund within a 30 days execution of this grant agreement on here? Because it's going to get moved into the housing trust account.
Mhm.
Okay, but that's one that will change with other projects.
Is there really such a word as, at the top of this, witnesseth?
Yeah, we don't have to. I mean,
fine.
that was on the coalition one. It's like, okay, because everybody signs it at the bottom, it's been, but it says in witness whereof, or what, I think it's whereof, yeah. Okay, so we
I,
don't need
I, I agree with this.
that. Thou make it the motion.
Verily unto you.
Are we seeking to like actually vote to approve it tonight? Or are we like, because I've read through it, quickly, just right, just before and during the meeting now. But I didn't know if town council is going to look at it and if we
Town
would have
council's
any,
got to. Yeah,
yeah,
the
if we
town
would have
council's got
any
to.
more questions that we could talk about it next month or something and then vote to approve, or what are thoughts?
Well, I'd like to get the okay just to go ahead and send this to town council.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. Um,
And thank you for putting it together because it seems like a very thoughtful and robust document. And I'm glad, that we're able to take advantage of the template that the coalition provides. So thank you.
you're welcome. I definitely told Chase and Stuart, thank you as well, because I'm like, where do I go? And it's like, oh, I know exactly where to go. So that didn't sound right, but okay. So let me, I think, make a motion to send it to town council.
I move that the draft grant agreement be submitted to town council for review.
Let's second that.
All right, Beth makes the motion, Barry seconds, and roll call. Jess,
I,
Barry,
Aye.
Beth,
Yes.
Colleen,
Aye.
Jason,
Yes.
and chair says yes. And what I'll do too is I will make sure that I put a watermark of draft on here. I just realized after you said draft agreement, I'll do that. Okay,
one
Go ahead.
question.
sure.
Didn't we, what happened to the old grant agreements? Is town council still looking at that or those?
No, it is still in Janet's hands. So, okay. Wherefore Janet got feedback from Robert that I have not included yet. And it's like, I just moved on to the last town meeting so I can stay current. But the other ones, yeah, I still have to finish up. I
So
apologize.
it's coming forth-ish at some future-ish date.
And just remind us which projects those would be for.
That is for the ones in 2022, which includes the Pony Park as well as the library digitization and we don't have to worry again. This will cover everything for the housing trust and forgive me. What was the fourth? The feasibility study for the Flanagan's Pond. So,
Yeah, and when it's the town's projects, I think we have a lot more confidence than we would if it was going to a private entity or something. So, not too concerned, but thank you.
and one good thing is the library has been, working very well with us, and Dan has been working well also with the feasibility study. So you're right about the town projects.
Yep, great, thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, anything else that people have for old business? I sort of yes and no. We might have some results back with regards to some appraisals. So I may be looking for either next week or the week after for a executive session. So I'll be sending out an email to see when people, if you can think about when people might be available to have an executive session to speak about the properties that we have been interested in. I really would like to know. I just want you to put that on your radar of, I'll send out an email seeing when people can make a meeting. This way here, Beth will be able to, not Beth, I'm sorry, Julie will be able to add. So that's the only thing really that I have for new business. I think it did pretty good though with regards to the town meeting, getting that approved, for 200,000. And we will be adding that to the database for the Department of Revenue on the coalition site. And other than that, I know one of my tasks is just to make sure that all that's being updated. And I think since we've got some additional projects, what I'll do is I'll come up with a list of our new projects so that we can update our success stories on the websites so that people know on how these monies are being spent, because we are still moving and forging ahead with some pretty good projects. And I think updating that list is going to be important. So I'll get that as well. And I just noticed one thing that I don't have on here is the committee reports. But if there's anything else that people can think of for new business? Oh, okay.
Time of the year now.
Pardon?
It's that time of the year, the holidays.
For sure. All right, well, I'd like to just go ahead and for committee reports. I know for the Housing Authority, we reviewed the current budgets and such. So it was more of a number crunching meeting, and we're doing good underneath the guidance of Ken Martin. He, again, we get the budget from whatever the new DHCD is called, and they approve it after about a year. So it's amazing on how they want everything yesterday, but by the time we get stuff back from them, it's already a year old. So that was good. And Housing Committee, we've been again doing pretty good. We had the public information forum on looking at what we can do for housing within the community. Gave them updates, we had about a little over maybe 30 participants or, individuals that showed up. Some of them, were from town, some of them weren't. Some of them work in town, some of them, like I say, have their businesses here. So with that, they wanted to hear, and this is how the invite went out, to hear what residents are concerned about. And especially, I tried getting some of the firefighters or town residents to speak with regards on how, or I should say town employees, on how it's difficult for them to live in town because they can't afford, they can't afford to live here. And with that, I think some of the feedback that we got was it's like Ayer has gotten, the housing market has gotten really high. It's costly, but that's what's occurring as you're moving people from east and moving to the west. And even now, they're seeing the same thing happening out towards almost Gardner area. So it's continuing that way. But I think it was a good showing. Jess, you thought, because you were there, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting, quite good.
Yeah.
Some of the
So-
concerns, I think, I know the small group I had concerns about carrying capacity of the town and infrastructure, but I think all were in agreement there is a need for more affordable housing.
Correct. Yeah. And Dan Van Shockwood went ahead and stated that they are looking at another well. And I think we've heard that anyways during some of the town meetings. So with that, they do know the capacity needs to increase. And then they still are working with the new wells currently with the PFAS and the reduction of output. So, but I think having the panel there was pretty good as well. So keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully we get the APAC video, and we're going to be putting that on the website. And it should be I believe it's a, Barry, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're starting to go, YouTube videos, so that it connects to APAC site and such?
Yeah, well, I mean, they have, right now, we're supporting both sites, the APAC website, and then we have the YouTube channel, which would be the APAC YouTube channel. And we just found out that one of the meetings that was taped a couple weeks ago, for whatever reason on the website, when it was uploaded on the website, chopped off about a half an hour. So somebody called us on it, but at the same time, the YouTube channel had the entire broadcast taping. So I don't know what happened there, but so if it doesn't seem right on the website, you can always go to the YouTube channel for APAC, the Air Public Access channel, I think is what it's called, Air Public Access Corporation. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. All right, that sounds good. I'll keep my eyes open for it.
Yeah, I was sorry that I wasn't able to attend, but if you would just send out a notice whenever it is posted, if you recognize it, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so that's it for that part of housing. Moving on to housing, Colleen.
One quick question. When you
Oh,
say it's going
sure.
to be posted to the website, are you talking about APAC's website or the housing authorities?
I'm going to make a link. I'm going to go ahead and make a link on the Town of Ayer's website for the Housing Committee,
Okay.
for the public forum, because we already have all the documents out there.
Yeah, I
So-
just wanted to know what you were.
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Thanks.
I can give Trevor a jingle tomorrow there to see where they're at on that.
Sounds great.
video.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Colleen.
Awesome. So the Affordable Housing Trust met last week. Very appreciative of the town funding our request. About this time each year, we start thinking about the next round of air rental assistance applications, which usually go out, to start funding, I think, in January. And so we're just, evaluating how things are going, thinking about, whether we need to reevaluate the area mean income that we use as the threshold. So we're just starting those discussions. And then we talked about the future of housing session because many of the trust members were there. I was not, but yeah, that's about it.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Jess.
Conservation, we just gave a 1-year extension to Air Solar 2's order of conditions, but they're pretty much done. They have to extend it just because the wetland mitigation areas need 2 growing seasons. So if they had to make any changes next spring, they'll be legal. We're looking at just looking at a proposal that's also before the planning board and will be before the zoning board for the lot at 71 Sandy Pond Road, which is diagonally kitty corner to the town beach. It's at that corner of Snake Hill and Sandy Pond Road. There's a proposal to put 2 duplexes, to subdivide the lot into 2 lots and put in a duplex on each lot. But it would have a net reduction in impervious surface on the whole lot since most of it is paved in the front. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
And it would not be possible by right? They are requesting relief, or?
No, they have to, I think, get a special permit or whatever for duplexes just through the zoning board. It's permitted, but you have to go through the special permit process. It's not automatic for this particular, I think it's A1.
Okay. But the lot geometry works out that they can meet all the setbacks and frontage and.
It is an interesting lot. It's basically does look like a pork chop. So what you see from the road is a big square area, but then it stretches way back behind the houses that continue behind it on Snake Hill Road. So they have the acreage. It's actually currently like a 2.2 2+ acre lot. So they can subdivide it and still more than meet the acreage requirements. And they'll have frontage for one of the lots on Sandy Pond Road and frontage on the other lot on Snake Hill Road. So no setback infringements.
It'll definitely be nice to revive that site and reduce the impervious there. So
Reduce impervious, and they've committed to putting in at least a few trees.
there better be more than a few. Well, yeah. I mean, if it's a special permit, you've got a lot of ability to indicate what your expectations are.
Well, conservation has already indicated its, and then I'm sure planning board or zoning board can, particularly zoning board, can press that further. So
That's why we try to work together.
Yeah, but I guess it's not going to be a senior center site then, huh?
it got bought by another entity. Was it considered for a senior center site?
I didn't believe it was. I don't know. I wasn't on the committee, so I don't know. Yeah. Oh, Cindy just sent us the video link for the public forum on YouTube. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll make sure as the meeting ends, we'll get that connected to the Housing Committee's website on the Town of Ayer's webpage.
I just did it.
Thank you. See,
Welcome.
it's the things that happen in the background. Thank you,
So now
Cindy.
that's the, you just provided the link on the housing. Okay,
She just
Yes,
did.
on the affordable housing page.
magic Cindy.
It's true.
Operating
Cindy.
incognito. Ask and you shall receive.
I know.
Behind the curtain.
Who's behind the air seal? The town seal. It's like, oh, all right. Anything else, Jess?
Nope.
Okay, Barry, historic?
We got the grant in, or I got the grant in 2 days before it was due, and it was a good thing that I actually copied Susan Tordella and the Agricultural Council on my draft. I was under the impression I just had to send it into the Agricultural Council, and I got a note back the next day that no, it has to go to the Mass Cultural Council. So I got that realization, but I was able to get that done later that night. So it was in on time, and I haven't heard anything yet. So
And the grant is for, Terry?
the signage, a new sign up on the rail trail with a new map and some sites, historical sites and things for the rail trail and in town air. And so we're hoping to get that. That's Kirby Products. It's actually very similar, or will be similar to one of the larger display board right outside the town hall and the parking lot there, where the handicap parking lot is. Be one that size. They're
Oh.
green.
Okay. All right, nice.
And then I filmed the fountain dedication there, was it a week or so ago? Down at the Depot Park. And I'm almost done that. I had to do a Halloween video for my grandkids first, so I had to finish that off first.
Yeah, family first.
And the other thing is, this more Maggie Durant's she's getting together the oral history, what we need for waivers and questions, and how do we seek out, solicit people that want to participate as far as some oral history. But that she's really heading that up there. So
Excellent. Thank you very much.
yeah.
All right, Jason?
Yeah, so just some updates on the playground project. We're gonna be signing a contract with Stella Construction Company here soon to to do the construction of the main portion of the playground. We actually ended up with 6 bids. The high bid was 1.5 million, thereabouts, 1.5 million to construct it. So that was kind of, that wasn't a serious bid, it didn't seem. The rest were all sort of in the same ballpark, but the low bidder came in at about 455,000 to put it together. And obviously, the low bid is one thing, but they could also meet the scope of work. So that's who we're going with. There's a contract written up. We just have to execute. We're hoping to get a pre-construction site meeting here in the next week or so. They can probably start the prep for the land, I think, before the snow starts flying. I don't know if we're going to have time to get the port in place done before the winter, just because, it has to be good conditions, right? You can't pour it in cold weather. But either way, we're still okay with our timeline with that. We should be able to really get at it once the good weather comes in the spring. So that's the main project. We've ordered the equipment. We've ordered the materials for the main items. So we spent, I don't know, about ballparking in about 700,000 plus, a little like 700,000 on that material, and then another like $300 with our guy Brad Spinney, who's over there with Lighthouse Mills. He's the resident that's donating his time. Basically, he's doing it for free. We're just paying for some materials like saws and oils and things like that he needs to mill the old trees. He's actually done it all. We got a lot more material than we thought we would have had out of all those old trees. So if you get a chance, it's all kind of stacked up down at the park. If you get a chance, you can go see what he turned those trees into. It's pretty amazing. We had a group of volunteers from the Groton School down last weekend or the weekend before that helped us out sealing it all with weather steel. So we expect the material to last about 15 years, right? So that's all all those old trees that we turn it into. We have some preliminary plans on what we're going to do with it. We may be able to get started within the next few weeks. So we could be looking to send out some communications for volunteers to help with that. Some of it's going to sort of depend on where the main portion of the playground goes to. So we kind of have to wait till that gets started and starts getting actually mapped out. But like I said, we ended up with more material than I think we thought we would have had. So we should really be able to do a lot with that stuff. So again, we'll put together an update on the financials here once this contract is signed, and we'll get those posted out probably to our website and hopefully social media and keep people informed on what's happening. But we're doing good.
Excellent. Thank you.
How do you spell Sella Construction? SELLA?
Oh, Cella, CELLA construction company.
Okay.
That's great news. So good to hear. So I'm glad that the bid came in, that you had so many bids to consider, and that seems like it was on budget. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, we got to look at the numbers again, but we're definitely at least on budget. We may be a little bit under, but I don't want to, without looking at everything, all the numbers yet. But yeah, we're in good shape.
Great. All right, Beth.
Yep. I just had one more follow-up question for Jess on the Stratton Hill definitive subdivision plans, I think had come in. I know Julie's not here, but just to understand if that is still under review.
They were due to opened the public hearing a couple meetings ago for reviewing the definitive subdivision plan, but it's been continued since then. The developer has been very ill in the hospital, so right now it's indefinitely. I don't know exactly when it will actually open, but that's a holdup.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I had seen it on a public hearing notice and then didn't hear anything else. So thank you.
Yep.
All right. So from just general open space things, we had the grand opening of the Nashua River Trail and the Pollinator Meadow today and had a really nice attendance there. Robert was there on behalf of the town. Fish and Wildlife Service had representation, Mass Development, Devon's Enterprise Commission, and the Friends Group, which is sort of a relatively new entity under a new name, at least, the Friends of Woodlands and Waters. It is the Friends of the sort of regional complex of national wildlife refuges that includes the Oxbow. So there used to be a Friends of the Oxbow group that was sort of dissolving and then just ended up merging with the Friends group from the Assabet, the Great Meadows, and the Suasco region of national wildlife refuges. So now everybody's working together as one Friends group, Friends of Woodlands and Waters. So they were also there and tabling and we were all getting people to sign up and things like that. So it's just an example of a really great partnership between Devon's and the town and the Oxbow. And our interpretive panels are now installed, and those were awarded and funded through the Wild and Scenic Community Grants. So yeah, just a really nice project. I hope everybody can go check it out on McPherson Road, and I can send more information about locations and things like that. And there were a lot of volunteers from town who helped, over the last several months to install and do maintenance on the pollinator meadow.
And the Pollinator Meadow is associated with a trail?
Both of them were funded through the grant and, sort of coordinated with all of the partners. Yeah.
Where is the Pollinator Meadow?
The Pollinator Meadow is at the junction of Bishop and McPherson Road.
Okay.
It's basically that triangle. Like if you're on McPherson Road where an old filter bed road goes towards the wastewater treatment pumping station. That's on the Ayer side of the river.
Right.
And then the trailhead is actually, if you're going towards the pumping station, that sort of maintenance yard area, there's a gravel road that goes off to the left. And then there's another parking lot that they've always called the Hunter parking lot. And that's right by the river. And then it's a 1/4 mile trail along the river. And it looks really lovely right now. You can see really well with the leaves down. We heard not great horn out, but barred owls this evening as we were wrapping up, to calling back and forth, and the river just looks very nice from there now.
What were they cooking?
They weren't talking about what, it was only who. So
Oh, very good.
Who cooks for you?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
The community grants for the Wild and Scenic Stewardship Council will be opening up soon. And then, kind of around the new year is when those will be due. So people can start thinking about additional projects that they might want to fund. Ayer has been really lucky to get some really nice projects funded through the community grants. So we'll hope that we'll be able to continue. And I don't think I've got anything else right now. Oh, there is a RAB meeting Thursday night for anyone who's interested in updates on contamination issues with Devons and PFAS and things like that.
All right. I know I get the emails and such. So Beth, thank you. Hopefully I can make it out that way just to go ahead and see that area. McPherson. But thanks. Is there anything else people want to bring up? I know I will not be able to make December 6th meeting for our next meeting. I have tickets to go see Andre Bocelli with some of my coworkers. So with that, and my son is also going to be just leaving that day too as well. So I don't know.
Wait a minute, you can get Zoom on your phone, Janet. You could zoom in from the concert. I don't see why.
We would love to listen.
I would imagine. It's like, oh, he usually has his family, which is sort of like I saw him last year, and it wasn't on a Wednesday. So, but this one here happens to be on the first Wednesday. Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll Zoom you guys in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to make a meeting a different time, or if I'll talk to Julie, because she's the assistant chair there, vice chair, and see if you guys just want to go ahead and have it. Again, we may, if we may not need it as well, especially if we can try to do an executive session within the next couple of weeks, just to bring people up to date on that. But if there's anything else, if there's nothing, then we can postpone it until January, or we can, again, Julie can go ahead and be able to hopefully handle the meeting. So I just wanted to give you guys that update, because that is our next meeting, December 6th. So, all right, more on that to come, I'll say it that way. And if there's nothing else, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So
Make a
moved.
motion to adjourn.
All right, Beth makes the motion, Barry seconds it. I think I can just do all in favor.
Aye.
All right.
So be
Have a
it.
good night.
All right,
Thank
good
you
night,
all.
everybody.
Good night.